What's up, guys? It's Matt with Tradition Farm. Getting down here to the shop this afternoon. Got a little bit of issue on the 806. So the other day I come down here to start it, to get it moved, hit the key, nothing. Well, come to find out, I had accidentally left the key turned on while I was working on the lights. Batteries were dead, no big deal. Threw the battery tender on it, set for several days. Still have no key, still have no power. I turn the key, nothing. Check C just to make sure. Nothing. So, did some quick troubleshooting, looked up some wiring diagrams online. We did rewire this whole tractor here, been about 2 years ago. So it's good wires, good connections. More than likely, underneath the dash here, something's come undone, or maybe a fuse that popped. But I mean, looking at the batteries are showing good. I've had them on charge. There's something going on electronically. I love electrical gremlins. Not really. I really do hate them. So I'm gonna get to digging in on it. I gotta take this cover off, see what I can find, and hopefully be able to get this tractor started. If not, I'm gonna have to call in some backup. So guys, stick around while we give it a shot. Guys, I'm a genius. Just kidding, I got lucky. A couple days ago, I was working on the shift linkage. It was a little loose, so I was tightening it up. Had the dash cover off. Apparently in the process, I bumped a wire. I don't know how I got so lucky. Literally the first one I touched just separated connections in my hand. That was the problem. I'll show you here. This connection right here just fell apart, just separated. Well, while I was there, figured, well, I'll check this one. Yeah, this one just fell apart too. But I still didn't have anything power-wise, so I got to looking. And right back here, don't really think you guys can see it, this red wire connector to the key switch. I had accidentally unplugged it. Literally the easiest fix I've had all year long. Hope my luck stays going this strong. I guess I'm gonna get her slapped back together and hopefully she fires up. What's up, guys? It's been a couple days since I was down here working on the tractor. Had a few things come up, so stayed out of the shop for a few days. Anyways, we're back down here. I got some really exciting things going on. So just a few days ago, there was a local auction where I picked up some new toys to add on to the planter. Worked on them a little bit yesterday just to try to figure out how exactly they mount and what I need to do. Got them all figured out. And today I'm going to show you what we're putting on the planter, what kind of upgrades we're doing, and maybe how you guys can add some to your own planter. So you guys stick around. Oh, that one's tough. I'm gonna get the shop opened up here. We'll show you what we got going on. All right, we picked up a full set of Yetter shark tooth floating row cleaners. Don't ask me the actual model number of them. I don't know. They do have the treader wheels on them. That's super helpful. Now this was a full set of 12, but they were used. So I was able to go through them, pick out the 6 best ones, because that's what I need for the 6-row planter. And we're gonna work on getting those installed. So I got one stuck on here, just because I really wasn't sure how they went. But we pulled off the no-till coulter. Now there's nothing wrong with these. They'd only been over about 50 acres really. But everyone I've talked to said that row cleaners are the way to go. So we're gonna try them and see what kind of results we get. I've tried row cleaners in the past. I had some Martin pin adjust, just regular finger till row cleaners, and they worked okay. But the no-till with the cover crops, I had some issues with the cover crops. It didn't really actually clean it out of the row. It ended up, stuff stayed in the furrow, and it really didn't do anything. So I took those off and got rid of them, went back to the no-till coulters, and now everybody's giving me a hard time about it, saying I gotta get some row cleaners, gotta put some row cleaners on. So these came across. It was a good deal. I picked them up. Gonna try to get them slapped on there, and hopefully here in a few weeks we'll be able to try them out. Now it's unseasonably warm. I'm wearing boots and shorts today, guys, and today's March 5th, I think. It's unseasonably warm, and a lot of guys are kind of starting to go to the fields on top of the fact that we just had 5 inches of rain thereabouts come through just the other day. We're way too wet to be doing anything in the field, so right now we need to just be working on planter prep, tractor prep, getting everything ready to go. So I'm gonna hopefully get a couple more of these row cleaners put on. Hopefully try to figure out how to get them leveled. More than likely I won't be able to set them until we actually get out into the field and put it in the ground and get into actual real working conditions. So I'm gonna find a place to mount you guys, and that way you can see me go to town. Hopefully try not to pinch any fingers. Well, while I've got the no-till coulter off and before I put the row cleaner on, it's a perfect time to check my disc openers, check the space in between them. Now, the way you do this is just a plain old business card, and this is just my work business card. You stick one in on each side until they hang up, and what you're wanting is the gap between the two of them. You're looking for 1.5 to 2 inches. Now, this standard business card is what I've always used to measure, is just the short side of it. You want them pretty well close to that short side. Anything less than 1.5 inch gap, you're going to create a W in the trench. So basically, as this true V opener comes through, it's not going to cut the very bottom. So you'll have a cut, and then it'll kind of come back up a little bit, and then the other blade will have a cut, and then it'll come back up. So it creates a W. Now the problem with that is your seed drops down. Sometimes it'll hit the top of the W, sometimes it'll fall into this side, sometimes it'll fall into that side, and you get uneven depth, which creates uneven emergence. Now if you have anything higher than 2 inches, you can see this one's honestly kind of a little wide. It puts excessive sidewall strain on your bearings, on your disc openers, cause them to wear out prematurely. The hard part on these 7,000 planters is when you start shimming them, you've kind of just got to get them close enough. The shims, I fought this one, in fact, fought several of them when I was putting these blades on brand new. They've only been over about 50 acres. I'd shim them, it'd be too wide like this. I'd take some shims out or add some shims, and it would just go completely the opposite direction. So I got them close enough for my needs. They're in good shape. A lot of this planter is built on the, well, it's close enough standpoint. So anyways, this one seems pretty good. Take these out. The blades do turn fine, so I'm not too worried about bearings being bad. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the faceplate mounted for the row cleaners, and hopefully get that one stuck on there pretty quick. All right, before we get that mounted, let me just show you how they do mount. Got one out here that's still on the faceplate. There's these 2 big bolts. There's bushing in here. So we'll basically take one that's not on there already and stick it on there, get these bolts stuck on, and that'll hang in place. Now, the way that these work on the floating side of things, I'll show you on this one we've already got attached. So you've got different depth adjustments here. This is if you want it to be rigid. You put a pin through here and it's stuck into place, can't move anywhere. Now if you go to this side, this is the lets it float. So you put a pin to set how far you want it to float, and then as it goes across the field, it raises and lowers, and that pin stops it from going down so far. So more than likely I'll have to raise this up quite a bit to get it set where it needs to be. But for now, it's fine. It's in the float position. And yeah, we want them in the float position because as they go across the field changes, and we want it to float if it hits a high spot or goes across the water furry. We don't want them to dig in and become a disc as it goes across the furry. We want it to kind of float up across there. So let's grab one of these that is ready and get it mounted up. Now I'm going to tell you guys ahead of time, these things weigh about 80 pounds a piece. So you're going to hear a lot of grunting and groaning as I try to get it held up there and bolted on by myself. So don't make too much fun of me as I grunt this thing into submission to get it mounted. Oh man, that's heavy. Gotta get my foot wedged underneath it here. Oh. There we go. Get in there. There's one. And there's two. All right, whew. Got that on there. Let's get this bushing set in over here. That's just not wanting to. I'm gonna put a nut on here just to make sure that guy doesn't fall out. All right, beautiful. Nice. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Can't seem to get that bushing. I can't seem to get it into place. It's not wanting to drop in. Let me push on it. I'll set you guys right over here. There we go. All right, cool. That's in place. Bushings are in the arms. Grab the wrench and ratchet. Get that cinched down, and we'll have one more done. Okay, we got this one mounted. Now the only thing we need to do, like I said, these are used. This shield here, it's not where it needs to be. And besides that, it's kind of got bent down here. You can't really tell, but it's rubbing on the blade as the blade comes around. So I need to loosen this guy, try to get him pried back out a little bit and get it rolled to where it needs to be to actually do its job. Now, the one thing that Yetter messed up on, I don't even think you can see it, but right down in here there's a grease zerk, and it's straight. Now, I fought the other one the other day. Straight grease zerks don't work. You cannot get to them. So I've got to take those out, put some 45s in it. That way I can grease them, because this first set that I put on was super dry. In fact, you can even see one of the bolts was loose, and I squeezed out clean, fresh grease. There was no dirt that came out with it. So that's telling me these are dry, and before I go to the field, I need to get some grease on those bearings. So I'm going to loosen these up, take the grease zerks out, and that'll be it for this row. Yeah, finally got the 4 rows put on. So we got 4 rows of row cleaners put on, and in the middle we still have 2 rows with the no-till coulters. Now the reason I split it like this is these far 3 rows are going to be a seed corn from Farmers Business Network. It's never been planted in this area, not sure how it's going to yield. and I want to be able to compare it to something that has been planted in the area and is a tried and true variety. So these 3 rows are going to be planted in DeKalb seed corn. So I want to be able to compare them, but I also want to try row cleaners versus no-till coulters. So this was the easiest way to be able to compare several different trials in 1 year on the same planter. So essentially these are just floating row cleaners. As they come across the field, they're going to spin and flick the trash out of the way. But if it hits a high spot in the field, instead of just digging in and basically digging dirt out of the way, they're floating. And so they kind of just flex up and down and pivot out of the way. So we're going to give these a shot this year. The only other thing I need to do is get them pulled out. It's hard to tell, but they're not exactly center on the row, and I want to get those adjusted that way they are centered. So probably for the rest of the day, I'm just going to put these corn meters onto the boxes, get those ready to go, and probably wrap it up early today. I appreciate you guys stopping in and watching as I get the John Deere 7000 corn planter ready for plant 23. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, drop them down below. I'd love to take a look at them. I appreciate y'all stopping in. Thanks. And you guys have a good one.